On a suddenly not so casual 7-point sharp Sunday, November 7th, 2021, we come to you live, the trifecta of greatness, Guns Picks, The Shark, LockBets.net, not.com, god damn it. NFL Week 9, November 7th, 2021, Dad Bodds, Leaderboard Collective, Capper Collective Competition, top plays, angles, hype, and analysis. We're hyped to be here. We have all the top plays. We're not waiting around. Guns Picks the Gun. What's going on today, brother?
Man, it is a beautiful Sunday. Hey, we had a very profitable Saturday with college football. We got to carry this on to the NFL, though. It's been kind of a public side on a lot of these NFL games. I'm hoping that it's going to be a little bit more sharper as we get going along through the season. I'm feeling it today. The card is a little bit short, but we have some big plays. How you feeling, Lock Bets, on this beautiful Sunday?
Gentlemen, ladies out there, I'm fucking tickled to be on this show with these two legends, Sharky, the Guns. I'm pumped to be here, guys. Usually I'm in MetLife Stadium or I'm at a tailgate, and I'm about 25 Bud Lattes in. So you're catching me on a fresh streak. Guys, welcome to your Sunday show. I'm pumped. What the hell's up, guys?
Well, we're not waiting around. I'm going straight business. We're going 4 o'clock, Lincoln Financial Field, and we are not going to the home locker room. Road team coming in here, the LA Chargers. Official play, top play, full alignment play per the Shark, the Gun, and Lock Bets. We're looking at here, Chargers coming here off 2 straight losses, an insulting loss 2 weeks ago, which we did have correctly at Baltimore, and a loss which I had incorrectly last week against New England. They really just insulted professional football. I thought they'd bounce back off a blowout loss. They did not. Shout out to the Patriots for keeping up really some momentum going into the season here. But when you really look at what's going on here, go back to week 1. Chargers at Washington. I had that as a top play in week 1 at an NFC East team. Similar line figure, 1.5. They did win 20-16 outright. And you look at what Bird Gang does at home, off-road wins. They do function better on the road outside of the division. They come home. They don't travel back home particularly well off road trips and wins. Coming off a win last week. I go back to early season as well. Again, this is NFL football. There's only 17 games. We have to zoom in somewhere. Short dog spots early season against San Francisco. And one other game I can't recall off the top of my head. But top play, Chargers -1.5. Guns?
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I mean, the Chargers coming off 2 losses. They had a brutal loss to New England at home last week, 24-27. But they won the net yard battle loss. Just barely. They won it by, they had a +17 net yard average for that game. Also, Philly coming off a road win, high on their hog, beating Detroit. I mean, anyone can beat Detroit. 44-6 was the score in that game after losing 2 straight. Now, Philly is more of a road warrior style team more than they do at home. If you check their home splits as far as net yards go, -58 net yard average at home this year, and they allow 78.4% completion rate to their opponents. And you know that the Chargers are a passing team, and they're going to be wanting to whip the ball out here. Also, if you want to go into the trends, Philly is 1-7 against the spread versus AFC opponents. So, I mean, the only take here is to take that short line with the Chargers off a bounce back with after losing to the Patriots. So give me the Chargers all day long. Lock, what do you think?
Yeah, guys, I'm perfectly aligned with you guys. I am actually boots on the ground. I'm in Philadelphia right now. It is a gorgeous Sunday. It really is. It is gorgeous. It probably has a crisp weather of maybe 55, 60. It's a little bit on the chillier side. Sun is out. The Guns are out, and the Sharps are aligned on the Les Chargers. Keenan Allen has been struggling with drops all year. I think this is a perfect coming out party for him. Herbert, get on the same page. Eckler is healthy. I think the Chargers train is coming to the link at 4 p.m. Eastern, and I don't think the Jalen Hurts-led Eagles will have anything going for them. They may find a few holes in the Chargers' defense briefly, but the turnover machine, Jalen Hurts, will be out and about, and that ball's going to be on the ground all day. I think the Chargers huge tonight.
Yeah, and not waiting around 1 p.m. AFC North battle. Cincinnati Bengals come home off an outright disrespectful loss to the Jets. We talk about this every week. Consistency to the inconsistency. Second official play for me, I only have 2 today. Obviously, the board is short and it's difficult, but we are going to the home locker room here. 5-3 Bengals, 2-1 at home. Double revenge game. You go back to last year, you look at dispersion points, very intelligent stuff here. The Bengals did lose 2 really short outcomes last year to the Browns, 35-30 on the road in a Thursday night special in week 2, I believe, and then a 37-34 loss at home 3 or 4 weeks later. 2 high-scoring, really, really competitive games. I think when you look at what's going on here, the line functionality does matter. The Browns were -4 on the road last year and won 37-34. This flips to 2.5. It's down to 2. The official take is -2. I think Cincinnati has turned up their quality. I think the line confirms it. And I think, again, as a dispersion point, we talk about this in all sports. When one team is covering in a sequence of games on a line and it flips to the other direction, it's going to come that direction. I think there's a bit of a fool's gold narrative here that OBJ leaving the Browns and the Browns being lackluster, blah, 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 should be a bounce back. I trust the Bengals at home. They have functioned well in the division this year. They are 2-0 in the division, both road games, blowout at Steelers and blowout at Ravens. Of course, first divisional home game of the campaign, but I do think it connects with it. Cincinnati -2 official. We're going back to the gun. Official play, 4:25 p.m. Fox special. Arizona Cardinals traveling to Levi's Stadium. Will the 49ers finally show up and cover a game they should cover? Guns.
You know, you have the Arizona Cardinals coming off a loss Thursday Night Football. They were driving down the field, interception in the red zone, brutal loss, and took out the last undefeated team in the NFL. I correlate this with as we did with SMU and Memphis. I took Memphis yesterday. Sometimes when you have that loss, the bounce back doesn't happen right away. Usually that carries over, especially on how you lose. If you lose in a dramatic fashion like that, there is some carryover there. Also, you got to look at Murray. He's banged up. I don't even know if he's going to play in this game. I think he was listed as questionable from what I could tell. I don't have the injury report in front of me, but you got to look at the matchup as far as revenge factor for the San Francisco 49ers in this spot, because they lost 17-10 to them already, which was a knockout dragout style game. They're coming off a good road win versus the Chicago Bears, 33-22 with a plus 143 net yard average. I know that San Francisco's 1-4 straight up versus Arizona, so I think the games are just getting closer and closer, and that kind of correlates to where the line is now, and more so that, you know, they don't think Murray's going to be playing. But I like the 49ers -1.5 here. I think they get the win, key divisional win, and carry it over.
Yeah, and just continuing that, I had this incorrectly in the previous game, but if you look at what happened here, we were talking about this off the record, the yardage gap in that game was absolutely insane. San Francisco outgained Arizona on the road by quite a margin and just couldn't get there in the small dispersion points. Now they come back. The line does shift by 6 points at open. Divisional line reads in NFL are very important. You do, of course, get 4-1 in terms of the games every 2 years versus outside of division games. I think it's a really sharp take. I also have San Francisco unofficially. I'm only actually playing 2 sides myself. Of course, we were in the competition, so we have 4 looks. But I'm unofficially playing San Francisco -1.5 as a line from 3 days ago when we booked this in the competition. But I really think people need to be aware of the fact that the Niners are one of the biggest buy spots in the entire sport. They're 0-3 at home, which is just an uncanny statistic. And you ask yourself a question, is this team going to go 0-8 on the campaign at home? And when are they going to turn up? And I think it would come against a divisional revenge opponent. And again, you look at what's happening here with Arizona. Arizona was 7-0 on the campaign. They did lose last week to Aaron Rodgers at home on Thursday Night Football. But is that a bounce back spot, or was that where they were capped? Again, were they supposed to go 17-0, or were they 7-0? Now they can crater down 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. I think it's a really sharp take looking at San Francisco -1.5. Not waiting around yet again. 1 p.m. Fox. Saints hosting the Falcons. Lock bets. Off a massive, massive win last week for the Saints, which they seem to consistently own Tom Brady. The question you ask yourself here is, can they back up success with success? And can they back up success against a team they have owned, having won 5 out of the last 6? Matt Ryan traveling here to Trevor Siemian. Lock bets, an official.
You didn't really think that narrative was going to come out. Trevor Siemian versus Matt Ryan. I mean, when were we going to expect that matchup? Maybe back in 2016, 2015-esque. I am all over the Falcons, and here's why. I mean, I think the Falcons versus Saints is a historically a great matchup in division. Matt Ryan lost his weapon in Calvin Ridley a few weeks ago. Calvin Ridley dropped. He said, "You know what? I'm done." I think with a week of game planning, get those new wide receivers in the building. Guns will probably go over that a little bit more. I think they're ready to take on this Trevor Siemian-led team. What's the worst thing that a team that is winning can come across? An in-division game that the team they're playing has really nothing to lose, right? Matt Ryan, this is no hobby for him, all right? He's a professional. He's going to come ready to play. And if it's Matt Ryan versus Trevor Siemian and you're giving me points, I'm taking Matt Ryan all day.
Guns alignment.
Yeah, full alignment on this one. You have Atlanta coming off a loss. They only scored I believe 12 points last week, but you have to understand, like Locke just said, Calvin Ridley basically just said, I need to leave for my mental health. And you basically found that information on Sunday. So I don't know when the team actually knew he wasn't going to be playing anymore. So to kind of, when you have a guy, your number one receiver, basically taken out of the lineup with no prep and no game plan outside of using him with, compliments to Pitts and maybe a little bit of Gage, they were in trouble from the get-go versus the Panthers. I think there's a bounce back here. And if you ask anybody in the South what they're, ask any Falcons fan, you ask any Saints fan, who's your number one rivalry, this is it. The Falcons are their rivalry. It's a no-brainer for anyone that is a fan of both of these teams. Also, you got to look at New Orleans. New Orleans is just getting lucky, especially when they play at home. I mean, they have a minus 38 net yard average on the season, and they're 5-2. I mean, I don't know why people are so high on this team. Granted, they did beat Tampa, but I felt that was more of a revenge spot for Jameis, and the narrative was already kind of written for the Saints to go in there and really show out. I think this is going to be a good spot to take Atlanta plus 6.5 as a gift. I know the Falcons have let me down multiple times trying to bet on them, but I think in this spot, we're going to be taking the Falcons.
Yeah, no disagreement for me there. This is a great buy spot. The only reason I'm not on this is just because the divisional line functionality is moving towards the Saints. And I do trust the books. And one thing that I always say, we consider ourselves to be evaluating at a really high level. Professional odds makers in Vegas have top-level algorithms that see deeper truths than any human being on the planet. So when you trust the line first as your evaluation point and then react to it, it's a really good starting point to cap any sport on the planet. Speaking of professionalism and longevity, New England Patriots come in here in a rebooted campaign, 3-0 on the road, off a massive win at the Chargers. And you go back through their games, even their losses this year, outside of one isolated loss to the Saints at home, have been very, very competitive. A 1-point loss to the Dolphins, a tight loss to the Cowboys, and a tight loss to the Bucks. Lock bets. Is New England legit? Are they going to come in here and clean the hell up on a lackluster Panthers team today?
I really do think so. I mean, I think if you look at Patriots historically, usually around this time of year, they get their shit together, right? They know the identity of the team. Mr. Bill Belichick has a pretty good track record in getting his team ready for the winter months of January, December, February. This is where it starts, right? Little cold, brisk air. I like Mac Jones. I think he's coming into his own. He's really finding himself. And this is another matchup that I like. Mac Jones versus Sam Darnold, who has a concussion. He's already seeing ghosts on most days, but maybe a little fuzzier today than usual. And their backup, PJ Walker, doesn't scare me at all. So with those factors, listen, I'm taking the Patriots today, and I like them to beat up on a banged up Panthers squad.
Guns picks. Here's your opportunity to tell Lock Bets why he is indisputably and unequivocally incorrect.
I think it's a little bit ironic that I'm wearing full Patriots gear and I'm actually going to be fading them here. I want to correct you on PJ Walker. I don't think he's going to play. What I'm seeing here, Sam Darnold cleared concussion protocol, and he's going to be the actual starter. Also, you have to understand that offense is predicated on if Christian McCaffrey's playing or not. He's actually taken off the IR, and he is available to play. I don't know into what capacity, but if you have him in there, he's a game changer for sure. And I think this Panthers team, granted, their wins are usually, from lackluster teams. I saw a little something from them against the Falcons, but I think that they just took advantage of a Falcons team that lost their top receiver. Big road win for them last week versus the Chargers, and they're playing close with good teams. They have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL so far. I mean, you had to play the Cowboys, you had to play Tampa, and they played them down to the wire in both of those games. I see high hopes for them in the future, but I kind of feel like this might be one of those letdown spots that they overlook and maybe catch a somewhat of a flat spot. A Mac Jones progression he's probably the best rookie quarterback in the NFL right now. He's performing on a high level, and as a Patriots fan, that makes me elated that I might have the next Tom Brady, fingers crossed. But I just can't take him in this spot. I mean, I love when I see 3 and a hook, it just makes me want to take the dog every time. I just feel like it's a short line. Sam Darnold's going to play, and hopefully Christian McCaffrey's going to play. And I just see this going to be somewhat of a flat spot. I am hoping it's Patriots by 3, but I'm going to be taking the 3.5 on this one. Just a small play.
Gun Shark, I'm hearing rumors there is comments on our feed right now. Does anybody got any access for some questions or comments? I got a message from Sir Pun Picks, a little DM saying that there's some commentary going on. Is this true?
We are not privy to that, as we are in StreamYard for YouTube.
Okay.
So we can't see those comments, but we love you guys. We respect you guys. We thank you for your interactions massively. Over 100 people watching on Twitter, which is big time stuff. We try to bring the best product, and the fact that you guys mess with it, connect with it, and we all can bring this positive energy to each other and hopefully this abundance is unbelievably powerful stuff. Staying on that point, the lack of abundance in the NFL is very pervasive in one particular matchup today. 1 p.m. Texans at Dolphins, a battle of 1 in 7 teams. Miami is laying -5.5 here. Lock Bets is wearing some Dolphins colors in that Titleist 10. I think he might be playing some golf today. A comment on this game. I don't know if you have an official, but let's go that direction.
Yeah. So this is also breaking news. I am seeing Tua is going to be active, but not starting today. So Jacoby Brissett will be in his absence. He'll be starting. This changes my narrative slightly. I loved Tua coming into this game versus the Texans. Why, may you ask? It's because they were about to ship off Tua to the Texans, get their Deshaun Watson. They were about to give up on Tua, right? So if I'm Tua going into this game, I got a lot to prove to the fan base, to yourself, your family. I love Tua in this matchup. I had him in my daily fantasy, a few matchups, but I think the Dolphins -5.5 versus an abysmal Texans team. It could be a public take on my end. The Sharps may be leaning towards the Texans, but you know what? I'm not messing around with this matchup. I'm taking the Dolphins, and if the Dolphins fuck me, then I'm done with them. All right, we can move on. But I'm paying to play today, taking the Dolphins -5.5 versus a Texans team. Tyrod Taylor is back. Another quick narrative on him. It seems like he'll play 1 game per year, get hurt, then he'll go to a different team, play that other game, get hurt, and come back. What are we buying when we're buying Tyrod Taylor? I'm not buying. I'm selling him, taking the Dolphins.
Yeah, just a journeyman special. That's all he is, really. He's just a poor man's Teddy Covers, really, when it comes down to it. Slightly more mobile, obviously, but the same general model and career arc. When you do look at this, obviously, Miami first time at home laying points this year. They have been poor at home. And I think that environmental shift as an average by, again, professional algorithms in Las Vegas does speak to potentially opening up a win here. Definitely nothing official for me here, but definitely appreciate the take. Lock bets. Let's continue on that point. Raiders traveling to Giants. Raiders are a shocking 5-2 on the campaign. Of course, they've had all sorts of issues. The Henry Ruggs thing is an absolute tragedy on all points. John Gruden being moved out, slightly more ambiguous, but equally frustrating on all points. Giants come in here off a very representative game on Monday Night Football at the Chiefs, a 20-7 tight loss and a cover. This game for me is very tough to cap. Guns picks. Any comments here?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat in this one. I keep going back and forth with it because the Raiders are basically, I think they're coming off a bye after beating the Eagles and just absolutely smoking them. I think they play the NFC East well, as they've shown in previous games. But you have the Giants are basically coming off what I would consider a valiant effort against the KC. They played well enough to win. Sometimes that can carry over into a flat spot the next week, and I haven't really seen the Giants play very motivated at home. They've played well on the road, like you saw them against the Saints, getting that big win on the road against the Saints. So to me, I lean the Raiders just because I don't think the Giants can play well at MetLife. And, the Raiders, you saw them play those 1:00 East Coast games. You saw them play against the Steelers, and they can play in those spots. I think the distractions of Ruggs is probably, that stuff like that can bring the team together. And we've already seen that with the Gruden stuff. So they know how to handle that. There is thick as thieves is in that crew. So I'm going to lean Raiders in this one. And it may actually be a small play for me today.
Yeah, we were talking about it off the air. I think, Derek Carr has showcased an incredible leadership ability that maybe people didn't know he had. He's been very, very impressive handling both of these situations. His comments in the press are great. And if you can really listen to his words, you can tell he's very authentic. I think that connects. And I think, we've talked about the coaching change maybe not being a long-term hire, but I think Carr may be the player's coach here that a lot of quarterbacks are not. And I think he has a great handle over this group in the locker room. So I think that's why they've sustained prosperity and excellence through all this struggle. And I think it could continue here. The Giants just have been purely lackluster at home under Judge. They travel better, particularly in the division. They're good in division and on the road. They're not good at home. The lean would be the Raiders to continue this upward movement here. Not staying in that game for too long. One last official play from Lock Bets. Green Bay +7. Jordan Love taking the helm this week. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers. COVID ambiguity, by definition. We're not going to go there. We're not going politics on this show. Unfortunately, the world has gone to a different direction, but we're staying in NFL football. Green Bay +7 at the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been just absolutely lackluster, unimpressive, confusing, any way you want to put it. Lock Bets, can you give us some clarity here?
I am in love with this matchup tonight. And I'll tell you why. My man Jordan Love making his start tonight, guys. He's not going to be the biggest factor, guys. We got to understand something. The Chiefs stink on defense. They stink. You know what you do when you stink on defense? You pound the rock, all right? Two unbelievable running backs. You got A.J. Dillon and my man Aaron Jones, the two-headed monster. I see them running it down their throat all day. Jordan Love with a few play-action passes to my man Davante Adams. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is the Aaron Rodgers show. No, it is the Aaron Jones show. All right? Don't get your words mixed. I still like this matchup. And if you give me 7 points, you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to cover that 7 points. Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, Davante Adams, no problem. No Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think this is obviously, we talk about Sirach on Ice joking model in the NBA, but it does apply to professional sports. When you see the backup quarterback coming in here, if you're the Chiefs in a home game in prime time, or excuse me, not prime time, 4:25 p.m., you do just intrinsically in your mind let down a little bit. And of course, people would say they're off of a bunch of lackluster sequences, but I think we've seen enough in this campaign to realize that the Chiefs are not necessarily bouncing back to a different average. They have reestablished themselves as this, I would say, almost mediocre football team right now. And I think going back to last year's Super Bowl, the Bucs had a very specific defensive game plan, which seems to have been remodeled and reused by most opponents this year. Patrick Mahomes looks very confused, and I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. Guns, any comments here?
I'm fully with you. I think Green Bay is the take on this one. We've seen it over and over again. When you're bringing in a new quarterback that you don't have a lot of film on, it's really tough for a defensive coordinator to prepare for. We saw it last week at Sunday with the Cowboys with Rush. We saw it with Cincinnati and the Jets. They couldn't, they put in a new quarterback, and if he's anywhere near any sort of level of talent, he's gonna progress down the field and cover those numbers. Now you have Green Bay, of course. The Rodgers thing is one thing, but you have a quarterback that you got in the first round a couple years ago from Utah State, And I think it's going to be his time to shine in this spot, especially against a KC team that just can't get I don't know. They have that Super Bowl hangover that just won't go away. They can't cover numbers. You're getting 7.5 with the Green Bay Packers. I think this is, or 7, I'm sorry. This is just one of those spots that just keep going with the trend. Once you put in a new quarterback, if the defense can't prep for him, a bad defense for that matter, they're going to not cover this number. I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay doesn't come out with a W in this one as well. So maybe a little sprinkle in the money line.
Yeah, no disagreement for me there. Only a couple more games. We're not going to go into immense detail. Ravens hosting the Vikings. Really tough game to cap, in my opinion. Both teams coming off of lackluster efforts. Definitely a merge spot on a -6. I'm not going to go into any detail here. Monday Night Football, I have a significant lean to Pittsburgh. I will be detailing that tomorrow. My only official play on record here for people who want to know what I'm putting my money on and not competition money, LA Chargers official -1.5 at Lincoln Financial Field at 4 o'clock. We're going to wrap it up there. It is NFL Week 9, Sunday, November, I should say, 7th, 2021. Thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks, guys, for interacting. Thanks, guys, for desiring. And thanks, guys, for dominating with us. Dad Bodds Capper Collective competition. Guns picks. Drop your 2 officials. Throw it back to lock. And we will be out to enjoy this beautiful 7-point Shark Sunday.
My officials on this one, I basically, what I'm going to put my money on, and I'm going to say is Atlanta +6.5, San Francisco -1.5, the Chargers -1.5, and the Green Bay +7, +7.5. I'm hoping you get the hook. Also, I want to say this too. We're talking about the comments. I can't see the comments on Twitter, but I can see them on YouTube. So if you want to, and you got my kid behind me wants to be part of the podcast. If you want to comment, please do it on YouTube. I can see those. For some reason, StreamYard can't see the Twitter ones, but I appreciate all the support. Like, retweet, share, and let's keep this thing moving. We just want to give you the sharpest information possible so you can make profitable bets. Lock bets, what are your official plays?
First off, shout out, I forgot, Gamecocks, huge win over Florida yesterday. Would have been nice to hit the money line on that, but I was asleep at the wheel, as they say. Official plays that my money is going on, Chargers, as we discussed, Falcons, as we discussed, and the Packers. Those are 3 plays that are already locked in. Could be some more. Maybe a few Bud Lattes will get involved, and I could drop a few live plays. But right now, let's get this train back on track for my plays, and those 3 are locked in. So happy to be on the show, guys. I really do appreciate the invite, and hope to see more.
Hell yeah.
And I'll say one thing. We love to hear it. Sharky Waters Nation, 9 words of lifestyle. Ride the wave or get out of the fucking water. Guns picks, close them out, and let's dominate.
Everybody, let's have a good NFL Sunday. Let's just cash, let's cook, and let's dance.
Let's dance, baby.